Eating the wrong foods can clog arteries, raise blood pressure, and cause heart problems. Meanwhile, the right foods can actually help unclog your arteries, reduce inflammation, and improve your heart function. So today, I want to address the worst foods you may be eating without realizing the damage it's causing to one of your most valuable organs, your heart. And I also want to offer the best replacement options to clean your arteries and drastically improve your heart health. First, let's start with a food that might surprise you. Yes, shark. Shark isn't so good for heart health. It's known that fish, especially those rich in omega-3 fatty acids, benefit the heart. For example, decades ago, researchers found that communities consuming a lot of fish had lower rates of heart attacks and strokes than those who didn't consume fish. Later, this was linked to the omega-3 content found in fish. However, not all fish are created equal. Those at the top of the food chain, such as sharks and swordfish, often have higher levels of mercury, which can have adverse effects on the cardiovascular system. As mentioned in a 2017 analysis, recent studies suggest that chronic exposure, even at low levels of mercury concentration, can cause cardiovascular diseases, developmental toxicity, neurotoxicity, nephrotoxicity, immunotoxicity, and carcinogenicity. Another study found a strong correlation between mercury toxicity and various heart conditions, including coronary hypertension, micro heart attacks, cardiac arrhythmias, and widespread atherosclerosis. Therefore, when consuming fish, it's best to focus on species that are lower down in the food chain, such as anchovies, sardines, mackerel, herring, and salmon. Next, we have the commonly known issue associated with fried foods. These have been flagged as a problem by the American Heart Association for some time. This is because fried foods are rich in unhealthy fats, including trans fats, created through a process known as hydrogenation. These trans fats can increase LDL cholesterol levels, the so-called bad cholesterol, while reducing HDL cholesterol levels, considered the good cholesterol. This can cause the accumulation of fat deposits in the blood vessels, increasing the risk of heart disease by blocking arteries and impairing blood flow. Additionally, trans fats also increase inflammation throughout the body, which is detrimental to heart health. In fact, 2 large observational studies found that the more people consumed fried foods, the higher their risk of developing heart disease. To protect your heart, limit the intake of fried foods, such as mozzarella sticks, fried chicken, and French fries. Instead, choose healthier sources of fat, such as seeds, nuts, avocado, and olive oil. Next, we have high-sugar sodas, which are inherently bad for heart health for several reasons. First, sodas contribute to weight gain and obesity as they are high in sugar, and you consume calories by drinking them. This makes soda ineffective at curbing hunger, leading to excess calories throughout the day. This excess of calories can cause weight gain, raising blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and inflammation, which negatively impacts heart function. Secondly, high sugar intake can also lead to insulin resistance, a precursor to type 2 diabetes, which can affect the heart by damaging blood vessels. Thirdly, excessive sugar consumption can cause chronic inflammation, a major factor in the development of atherosclerosis. This is a condition in which fat deposits build up in the arteries, restricting blood flow and increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Therefore, to support a healthy heart, limit the consumption of sodas and sugar in general, opting for healthier beverage options such as water, tea, coffee, or other sugar-free drinks. Another group of foods to avoid for improving heart health are sources of refined carbohydrates, such as cakes and white bread. Research shows that these foods can be harmful to heart health. One study found that those who consumed the highest amount of refined carbohydrates were 2 to 3 times more likely to develop heart disease than those who consumed at least. The reason is that refined carbohydrates can cause a rapid increase in blood sugar levels. This, in turn, can contribute to weight gain, increase blood pressure, and lead to insulin resistance, harming cardiovascular health. Therefore, to promote a healthy heart, limit the consumption of foods high in refined carbohydrates, opting for healthier options. These situations can cause insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, which is a significant risk factor for heart disease. Diabetes can damage blood vessels and nerves, affecting the heart as well as other vital organs. Another drawback of refined carbohydrates, similar to simple sugars, is that they don't provide much satiety. It's easy to consume hundreds of calories in the form of white bread or cake. The associated weight gain can harm cardiovascular health, increasing cholesterol levels, blood pressure, and inflammation. Another food you should stay away from are sugary cereals. While cereals are often considered a healthy way to start the day, this couldn't be further from the truth, especially if they include high amounts of added sugar. Processed cereals and sugars in general are bad for heart health. It can be especially problematic if you consume this early in the morning due to blood sugar fluctuations causing increased hunger throughout the day, leading to increased calorie intake and ultimately, weight gain. Additionally, cereals are not nutrient-dense, although they contain some fiber and a few vitamins and minerals such as B vitamins, iron, magnesium, zinc, and selenium. The amounts of these nutrients are not very high, especially when compared to more nutrient-rich foods such as vegetables, fruits, eggs, legumes, and nuts. It's important to get a sufficient amount of all micronutrients, as research indicates that deficiency increases the risk of heart problems. For example, one study found that over 20% of a group of adults with heart failure had a low intake of vitamin A, calcium, magnesium, selenium, and iodine, and up to 75% had a low intake of vitamin D. Therefore, it's best to consume a low-glycemic and nutrient-rich breakfast, such as a spinach omelet with some beans or a piece of fruit. Moving on to margarine, this is often considered a healthier alternative to butter, although it contains significantly fewer saturated fatty acids. However, margarine is actually worse for the heart because it is created through hydrogenation, a process that adds hydrogen atoms to liquid vegetable oils to make them solid at room temperature. The drawback of this processing is that it creates trans fats, which increase LDL, bad cholesterol, and reduce HDL, good cholesterol. High levels of LDL result in the accumulation of fat deposits in the blood vessels, narrowing the arteries and impairing blood flow, increasing the risk of heart disease and stroke. To protect your heart, limit margarine intake and opt for healthier fat sources such as olive oil and avocado oil. Regular butter, without other blended oils, is also a better option than margarine. When choosing a visual alternative to margarine, opt for products made with non-hydrogenated oils and free of trans fats to reduce the risk of developing heart problems. Another group of foods that combines several unhealthy ingredients for the heart are commercially baked cookies. Although tasty, these cookies often contain unhealthy fats such as trans fats, as well as added sugars and refined carbohydrates. These ingredients, as mentioned earlier, are harmful to heart health. This doesn't mean you can't consume cookies or other bakery products occasionally, but it's a good idea to do so in moderation and in limited quantities. Fortunately, there are healthier alternatives, such as homemade and bakery products made with whole grains, healthy fats, and minimal added sugars. These options are much less harmful to heart health. Other alternatives for those who enjoy sweets include fresh fruits or dark chocolate. The latter is especially a heart-friendly option, as the flavonols present in dark chocolate can improve blood flow, reduce blood clotting, benefit cholesterol levels, and decrease inflammation. Regarding alcohol, it's important to keep in mind that all types of alcohol can be harmful to heart health when consumed in large quantities. But this can be a bigger problem with distilled beverages such as vodka or whiskey due to the high alcohol content of these strong liquors. Excessive alcohol consumption can damage the heart by increasing blood pressure, triglyceride levels, and causing conditions such as cardiomyopathy. Although some studies indicate that moderate alcohol consumption can improve heart health, it's crucial to remember that the definition of moderate consumption is quite limited. Generally, consuming more than 2 drinks per day for men and more than 1 for women is considered excessive. Additionally, the benefits observed in some studies may be associated with other lifestyle factors of people who consume alcohol moderately, such as higher socioeconomic levels and greater self-control. Meta-analysis confirms that truly drinking moderately is not a health concern, but anything above that poses a dose-response risk. Therefore, to maintain a healthy heart, consume distilled beverages and other alcoholic beverages in moderation. Last but not least, there are hot dogs and other processed meats. Based on the available evidence on red meat in general, it doesn't seem to be harmful to heart health. However, hot dogs and other processed meat products, which are modified through methods such as salting, curing, and smoking, can be harmful. This is because they contain various compounds and factors that harm heart health, such as nitrates, nitrites, nitrous compounds, nitrosamines, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These compounds can be formed by exposing red meat to high thermal cooking methods. Consuming processed red meat can also increase levels of trimethylamine and oxide in the body, which can harm the cardiovascular system. To minimize these harmful effects, it's best to avoid processed red meat and instead cook red meat at lower temperatures. If you enjoyed this valuable information on heart health, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Here, I share more tips and insights for a healthier and balanced life. Your subscription is a way to show support for the content and will also ensure you don't miss out on upcoming videos. Together, we can work towards healthier hearts and more mindful lifestyles. Thank you for being part of this journey.